mayor and to the state of Massachusetts. 아니 다른 공소주 울베 겸내 견두기데 아니 벽에 시다 쉬 먹어 제 딱 니만가 수고라 나파게 담슬라 짜차지 안 심주 제가 라베 갑라 아니 공소주 구제링 번에 버쇼 쉬베 인디려 가라 공소주 굴로자다 쪽섬하 슈기스 안디 판델 함네 룽데 요레스 제제 아까낭수인데 가우시라 중수 쉬베나시 제제 오늘아 공소주 고감 상보레샤 아니 안참에기 구드 라니 가수그래 멜람 자야 쪼슈슈 공소초기 깔롭낭 샤바디 일라 짱베 토네 찰레나이데 백해침부레 셰슈디 아니 예자 무규지 슈베이 아디 간주기 지조 타이자 저 소셜 미디어 프로파일 여러봐 델리 인지 민지 공소초 고바 rabdo chungna nambaso jega chungyana jega kapge koba di rimbe luche andene ta chungna lochig ringala machungne dawa chig ringala mene ya chindu thukbe se sumjune dumbe se thukbado duda chig ringala keran sola susu gerngwo nerada 공서 초 세브다 간대질라 문제 지고요 그냥 대박 간대요 쓰gur 간대요 구샵 간대요 롭소 가는 렘바 이 강마마 인게 토네 치게게 토네 저먼 프렌치 루토바 이나 공서 쪽에 제버틸레 잠링 요라 카비알레 팽그레 해치 쉐디 한 공서 쪽 치게 칼라 페야 뉴르 두고 유대 갑라 공서 쪽이 공바다 차난 디게 잠링 요라 카비야 건조 게레 이 톨라 샤로나치 슈바다 다링에 인게 돈직 슈처와 shall just say a few words in English because Geshe Ngama wanted me to introduce who His Holiness the Dalai Lama and his legacies are. Actually, you know, if I have to explain to you, you will have to bring your blanket and have your, you know, bed ready because we can go for hours and hours and days because His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, has great legacy. That's why among the 14 Dalai Lamas, we call him the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. For example, you know, he has 4 commitments. See, as I mentioned, His Holiness' name, more loudly, rain is also, you know, decreasing in its velocity because that's the power of His Holiness. Among the 4 commitments, number 1 commitment, he says, is as a human being, one should be kind and compassionate towards each other. Because as a human being, no one wants suffering. Everybody wants happiness. But to gain happiness, you must help others. You must be kind to others. That's why our Tibetan school's motto is others before self. Not others, not self before others, okay? In America and the Western world, self is emphasized. Your ambition, your goal, your success is the most important thing. In the Tibetan school, we are told that if others are happy, community will be happy, your family will be happy, then you will be happy. Your happiness cannot be an ambitious, success, selfish-driven goal. It has to be selfless. That's why His Holiness says, as a human being, we must be kind and compassionate towards each other. Jokingly, because when I served as the Prime Minister, later President of the Tibetan government, exile, I've had many, maybe perhaps 100 audience, private audience with His Holiness, and he told me, by the way, Lobsang, even to defeat your enemy, compassion is a very useful tool. For example, your enemy or adversary, others would like to harm you by saying something critical, something nasty, something bad. But if you are affected, if your mood is gone, if you're angry, then you are sleepless, you know, and then you lose sleep. Next day you are groggy, and then after some day you look like zombie, and you lose appetite, right? And then your enemy, the adversary, will be very happy. I said, I got him, right? He is where he is because look at him, right? But rather, when that person is critical of you, vehemently critical of you, smile, if you be happy, if you walk around confidently, the adversary will be angry. Adversary will lose sleep. Adversary will lose appetite. Adversary they will look like a zombie. So the best way to defeat your enemy is to be compassionate. Now, when we say compassion, people misunderstand. Oh, should I show my other cheek to my enemy? That's not the issue. It means you should be compassionate, meaning for your own sanity and physical well-being. You should be compassionate. Compassion-based courage is the greatest gift that spirituality is given. With that, the courage you have is for the people, is for the cause, is for the city, is for the state, is for the country. That's the compassion-based courage. You work for your city, for your people, and you face adversity because you're not defending or pursuing your individual goal, but rather you are pursuing the goal of a country or the world. So that's as a human being, number one commitment. Number two, he said, as a Buddhist, if you study world history, there has been many wars fought over religion, in the name of religion, led by religious leaders or encouraged by religious leaders. That's why he believes in interfaith harmony. So today's gathering is a great example of His Holiness' second commitment. That all have dialogue all the time, so we have better understanding. So religion will not be used for personal goal to create war or unhappiness or enemies. Rather, religion will be used to bring internal harmony. If all the religious leaders come together and emphasize the key message of all the religion, compassion, kindness, love, then there will be peace in the world. If there's peace in the world, there will be peace in your country, in your society, in your family, and within you. Third commitment he has is as a Tibetan, he believes the Tibetan culture and Tibetan language is very rich. Tibet has an ancient civilization that ought to be preserved and promoted for the sake of humanity. Because Tibetan culture, Tibetan values are so rich, we can contribute towards, even in America. If you study, I don't want to be biased, but if you study among immigrants, one of the most successful immigrants are the Tibetans. For example, in a small case, I was told in New York, let's say, among middle class or rich class family members, if you're looking for nannies, Tibetan nannies are so popular because the Tibetan nannies treat your children like your own children. And where does it come from? It comes from Tibetan culture and values taught by His Holiness Dalai Lama and all the Buddhist monks here. You all are taught to show love not just for human beings and animals, but also to sentient beings. So when we talk about happiness, it includes humanity, but also sentient beings. So that's very rare. That's why Tibetan values is so rich, and His Holiness feel it ought to be protected and preserved. Also the Tibetan environment. The fourth commitment he has is the ancient Indian wisdom. Again, it's about compassion and kindness, but he believes that sometimes he says that he has kind of given up hope with the elder generation because our mindset are hardened, our ideology and philosophy and our biases are strong. Rather, he wants to teach the children because their mind are still pure, their thinking are still simple and flexible. So that's why he has initiated curriculum where happiness is taught. In the city of Delhi, around 1 million children are taught a book or a curriculum on happiness. And this teaching has spread to around 72 countries and 100,000 plus high schools teaches this curriculum, initiated and blessed by His Holiness Dalai Lama, because he thinks the future lies with the children. Because if you want humanity to be successful, children should be taught about kind-heartedness. So that if they want to become a business person, their ultimate goal is not profit, but how to serve your customers. If the children would become politicians, they will not think of their career only, but they will think of the constituency or the voters who voted for them. And if they want to become teacher, the teacher mindset will be for the students, for the school, not for one's career. So this curriculum has become very popular and is taught around the world. So I hope I explained to you in a sense who His Holiness Dalai Lama represents. For Tibetans, he is the heart and soul of the Tibetan civilization. For us, he is the manifestation of Buddha of compassion. For us, he is the identity, he is the symbol of Tibetan nation and Tibetan people. That's why, at the age of 16, he took over the political leadership because the elder Tibetans were, anyway, they were accepting defeat, so to speak. He was given the responsibilities. He tried his best. At the age of 23, he had to escape Tibet and come to exile in India because we lost our country. Can you imagine at the age of 23, he said that only thing we had was sky and earth were our friends. And having said that, from the age of 23 till now, he has led the Tibetan people. He has put Tibet in the map of the world, Tibet as an important issue around the world, and we are here because of the greatness and contribution of His Holiness Dalai Lama. For that, all the Tibetans around the world are forever grateful to the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Thank you.